Hello, everyone. My name is Oladele Ayorinde, the convener of the Organ House concert and seminar series. It's nice having you today, and we are also happy to welcome you back after the conversation last week. This is the Organ House concert and seminar series. You are welcome. Today, we are advancing on the conversations we've been having at least in the last 6 months. For some of you who have been following us, you know we've been having at least up to 3 series concurrently. One of them is the stories and dialogues in Nigerian organ culture, and also that we use culture cautiously anyway, Nigerian organ music and also church music history. As part of this particular dialogue, we have been engaging, practitioners, choirmasters, choral director, and those that we know that can actually help us, map the dynamics of practice, culture, and also different forms of development in Nigerian church music, particularly, regarding, organ music and performance culture, in Nigeria. Again, you need to also remember that the Organ House Concert and Seminar Series, or the Organ House at Mountaintop University, is engaging this particular dialogue, in reference, to the project on ground, which perhaps I need to remind you. We are running a project that is mapping 100 years of practice in Nigerian, documenting, Nigerian church music culture. So I'm sure you know, the project itself is called Organ House Documentation and Digitization Project. So as part of that particular dialogue, this is one of the series that we have started, in the last few months. And today we are back to that series again. And we are so happy to have one of us, when I say one of us, you know what I mean. We are having one of our long-standing practitioner, organist, music scholar, and also colleagues in the profession. As very soon I will invite her to introduce herself. But before that, the context of today, as we all know, is quite different, unique, and also calls for a specific attention in terms of its dynamic. We've been talking about organ, church music in Nigeria. And as you have all know, of course, the history is quite a long-standing history, but dominated with by men of, professionals who are mostly men. So the stories, the voices, the practice of in this particular history has been defined, by a narrative that actually, projects the role of men in our society, which is, of course, should be is what we are used to. But the question today that we are asking, and why we are having this conversation, where are the female organists and, choral director in Nigeria? And as part of this, dynamic in searching for the female voices, the female organists, the role of women in this interesting history, we are today, having our friend, our colleagues, and our, our sister, of course, because in the context of organ music. So today, I'm happy to welcome Mrs. Abiodun George. And please kindly introduce yourself to our friends and colleagues.
Thanks so much for having me here. Good afternoon, everyone. Nice to be here. I'm Mrs. Abiodun George, Organist and Director of Music, Holy Trinity Anglican Church in Mushin, Lagos.
Okay, thank you so much,
yes.
Mrs. George. Thank you so much. Thank you. So today we are going to start with, as we are going to engage in a way that, spotlight, if I may say, or, open up an aspect of Nigerian church music history that is not too common to the common people. I don't know if that's a good, phrasing though. Yeah, but the reality is that we want to know about the role of women. How are they contributing? Is the practice the same with men? How do we rate this dynamic, and what can this particular knowledge, add to our understanding or conceptualization of church music history in Nigeria, or less particularly for the organ practice, which we all know is mostly defined by the male figure in our society. So I have a few questions which I think we can go through together,
Okay.
and just within the next minute before we now open the platform to our colleagues and friends who might want to ask you a few questions or follow up on some issues that they themselves as they have been waiting to get response to the last few years. So the first one here is how will you describe the organ music landscape in Lagos, for instance, particularly in the last 20 to 30 years? What is it to you? How will you
I'll say the music landscape in Lagos, Nigeria, have taken a brilliant transformation. In terms of evolution, in terms of digitalization, then in terms of increased visibility, unlike before, the female are not given recognition at the organ, even in the heart of music, unlike back then when it was strictly for men. So now it is given, and the female are given recognition on that aspect. Also, we can also see that there is a generational shift at this time. And we can also talk about church growth. Church growth has affected the music landscape because a lot of churches now are now using the international standard. Even when we sing this our African music here, we use the international standard. Even Nigerian compositions at this moment, unlike before that we just say they are folk songs. No, they now have the brilliant international standard in accompaniment, even in singing too. So in the last 20 to 30 years, it has really taken then the digitalization. The use of like something like this, online projects, online concerts, online even advertisements have really gone wide. It has made the music at this moment to have a better recognition unlike before.
Wow, thank you so much. Definitely, I agree with you that things have evolved in an interesting way in the last 20 to 30 years, particularly in Lagos and across major cities in Nigeria, like Port Harcourt, Jos, Abuja in the last, and some of those, Enugu, of course, yeah. So
even in Ogun State,
Ibadan, of course, yes. So definitely we are coming back to that. But before that, let's quickly, I think the next one we have here is what really motivated you into music?
Wow.
Why music? Why music? Why music? Perhaps something like, yeah. So why music?
Let me start from the very beginning.
So
it started about 25 years ago. I was out of the secondary school and still waiting admission. I was thinking that what can I do to really keep myself busy? So I joined the choir. Nobody took me there. I went there on my own. I was just 17. So that particular day I went to my home church, St. Stephen's Anglican Church, Abiodun. Our choirmaster then was Mr. Shegun Fadeye, now Dr. Fadeye. So I just went into the place. I told him I want to join the choir. He said, okay. And the system there is that as soon as you join the choir, the first thing you do there is the sight reading class. So we started the class. I wanted to breathe. I had some more passion. But the one thing that really motivated me to put in all my strength, even as a choir girl, then I've not even started with the organ, was that the older one used to come late to the rehearsal. So Mr. Shegun would have a solid start up until you have them around. So as a young girl, then I just want to do what they are doing. I just want to know it. As soon as they sing it, I make sure that I grab it into my ears. And I was following the sight reading class. I was following the way, and before I knew it, I was already sight reading. So anytime you want to start maybe the beginners class like that, I'll be there. I'm always following. I think he saw the passion. He saw that I wanted to know it. And I'm not always happy when we have to wait for the older ones to come around, because not until they come around, we won't have a good startup. So from there, somehow he was the one that showed me the black and white of the organ. So as soon as we started, maybe after the rehearsal, he'll just tell me, this is this on the organ. So he saw that I had that passion. So all of a sudden at one rehearsal, I just said, Jordan, go and give me F. And everybody was like, when did she join the choir? Yes. And that was how it all started. And in 2000, he presented me for the Mushin examination. I did voice, grade 5, and theory, grade 3 then, because I was not so good on the piano, on the organ yet. So I went for the Mushin exam. So from there, he was the one, it was Dr. Fadei, Dr. Fadei, that took me to LASU to start my diploma.
Wow.
So that was where, even my first 2 churches, he got it for me. That was a particular, the first church, yes. The first church I got was Church of Epiphany, I think early 2000. In fact, as a matter of fact, I started with one hand. Just this, yes, this is a small church and they needed somebody to play. And the father now said, you'll have to go there, just go and learn. That was how I knew that even as an organist, if you put yourself down, you are going to learn and learn at the same time.
Learn and
learn at the same time. And I went to Church of Epiphany. I started with just a single hand. It's one baby church. I don't know if the church is still in existence now, but then it was at Bariga. Okay. It was a baby church. It's a baby church to Christ Anglican Church. Is it Anglican Church Bariga?
Bariga, okay.
But I don't know if the church is still there. But those that are there are few, very few members, but they appreciate music, they love music, and they were so patient for me all through the time. But before I left the church, I was able to play the full parts. But afterwards, I left and went to St. Philip's Anglican Church.
St. Philip's where?
Olorun Shogun.
How long did you work with St. Philip's Anglican Church?
I was at St. Philip's for 4 years. Yes, I got there 2002. In fact, I had the support of my friends then. And Dr. Jose, I had the support of Vayo Ajayi. I don't know if you can still remember. They were all there to guide me. They started when we went to do choir festival. They're always around to help me. So I was able to do like 3 choir festivals there. It was the same church where I got married. So yeah, I left there 2006 after I had my first child.
Wow. That's interesting. Wow. So just a quick one before we move to the next one. Compare, when you compare your experience at St. Philip and Church of Epiphany, what can you flesh out? Is there any difference in terms of your progression and the development?
Of course, lots of progress. Epiphany didn't have a choir. Epiphany did not have a choir. And they are so nice that they just left me. Just give us that sound. They don't even, anyhow you play it, just play it. So I knew that firstly, I was there with right hand only, just the soprano. Later on, I started with the alto and soprano. They accepted it.
Okay.
So later on, I added left hand. I remember the first hymn I played, full part was St. George. I didn't even know where I'm going to go. That day, as soon as I strike that chord, I just went off. I was so scared because the sound was so heavy in my ears. But comparing Epiphany with St. Philip's have a choir. They have a choir, older members for that matter, older members. And it was a lot of struggle balancing between them. I was very young then. I was very young, but I tried my best to listen to them. And God rest the soul of the vicar then, Reverend Oladele. He was a very, very wonderful man. He made the church to accept me the way I was then. He is a father. He's a father, and he never let them owe me.
Wow.
So my experience there is that at St. Philip's, I had a choir to learn with. I had a choir to share my experience with. I had a choir to gain from, unlike Epiphany, where I was just alone.
But at this moment, you were also studying at the University of.
Yes.
So how were you able to combine these two dynamics together as a student and also as the organist, moving from mainland to
Lasso?
Lasso.
It was not easy.
What do you mean by that?
It was not easy, seriously. What I do is, because we have our lectures Monday to Friday, but I go to school Monday to Thursday because there will be choir rehearsals on Thursday and Saturday. Okay. I was at St. Philip's then. I was still doing my diploma. So I always miss Friday classes because as soon as I come back on Thursday, I'll have to wait. So Sunday evening after service, I go back. And the church was so good to me. They were so good to me. They supported me. They gave me loans to run my academics then. So
in school, were you studying organ or piano?
We didn't have organ at last then. So it was piano. It was piano major.
Piano.
Yes. If I didn't have access to organ then, because only I said what you say. St. Philip's have keyboard. Lasso have a piano. So I did not have access to the organ. I only had access to one app. Yes, before I left St. Philip's, Reverend Oladele got one half pedal organ. So I was flexing with that organ before I left the church. That was where I actually started pedaling. Yes.
Wow. But at St. Philip's, at what level were you at the time in terms of were you still within the preliminary stage, intermediate playing stage, or have you entered into the professional stage
preliminary,
at the time? Even at St. Philip, why you at Lasso?
With my rate now, then I thought I was a champion. But with my experience now, it's preliminary. But before I left, I think I crawled into intermediates.
Well. Yeah. Okay, we'll definitely come back to all this. So I think the next one I have here is for you is okay, we're talking about your entry now. That's what you just said. Okay, your entry into the organ scene in Lagos actually. So can you tell us about that, the journey, the real in terms of organ? That's where you started from. You started playing the half pedal. Then what really happened after that?
My real pedal journey started with Holy Trinity Anglican Church Mushin.
Okay.
And I'm still there till date.
Wow.
I got there and I was the assistant organist. Mr. John Salijari was the organist. And we worked together for 10 years.
Wow. You were the assistant organist?
For 10 years. I was the assistant for 10 years. So we worked for 10 consecutive years.
What was the experience like for you?
Beautiful. It's something I won't forget, even though he's my fight partner now. But working with him has been very, very wonderful. He put me through a lot of things. Even if my pedaling was easy for me to learn because one, I put my mind to it. Then two, I see those pedals as the organ itself. So I play it like I am playing the organ. I play like I'm using the manual. So yes, that was what really hastened of the learning. But while working with Mr. Johnson Salijari, he is someone that he is a choirmaster that really wants to make a replica of himself. When you are working with someone, like A music director will always want to conduct. A music director will always want to direct the choir. As the assistant, just be on the organ. But he never treated me that way. He would tell me, you are doing the rehearsal so day, go and prepare. I'll just start to think, how did you want me to cope? How will I face the choir? The choir that they are not babies. How will I teach them? But he will insist. Even in the service, he will give me hymns to conduct. When I come back, he will make corrections, he will tell me what to do. And at the organ too, he will always tell me that when you are playing, I don't want our style of playing to be different.
How?
Yes, no how members can be. At the sound of the organ, it is George. At the sound of the organ, it is Adejare. So it's always like, when you play Mrs. George, let them look and say, very good, that is George.
So what is the meaning of that? What do you mean by that very good? Are you talking about in terms of technicality?
The flow. The playing. The flow. How you make use of the organ means a lot in the service.
How? What do you mean?
How do you take charge as an organist? So when my boss gets to the organ, he displays his styles, and I just get there. At least I do the little I know then. So he's always like, with the kind of congregation we have here, they are musically inclined people. I don't want our styles to be different from one another. Even after rehearsals, he will tell me to wait. For extra sessions, we might take like 45, 1 hour. Rehearsal closes before 8 p.m. I may not leave the church past 9. He made that sacrifices for me then. So when he left, it was not an extreme difficult thing to take over.
So just before I have something that I could need to clarify. So when you were playing the organ, working with Mr. Adejare, were you okay? Was there any tutor? Was there any structured ways of learning, systematic ways of learning the organ, or it was just following the weekly flow of what comes in terms of hymns, the repertoires, the anthems, or what you do?
There was a structure. He created a structure, not just about the services alone. He really wanted someone who can do it when he's not there. So he gave his time to put me through on a lot of things, not even about services alone. Even he taught me improvisation. He taught me conducting. Even he taught me the boldness to face the choir. The first time I held the rehearsal at my church, I was so scared, because when you are dealing with choristers that know what they are doing, you have to be very, very careful.
What do you mean by that know what they are doing?
They have ears musically. They are musically literate. That is the kind of choir Mr. Johnson built at Mushin. So then he knew that if he did not put me through that system, I may not be able to stay there. Yes, in my church as an organist, if you don't know music, how would they love you? You're not doing your job well. So he wanted them to love me, and he wanted me to match up to the standard.
So you mean it was, we can call it mentorship or apprenticeship?
He mentored me.
More like apprenticeship, not necessarily a kind of systematic. Okay, this is a book. You must play this. You must play that. Because I know at that particular time, a particular book was popular, the organ.
In fact, he really made people to know me too.
Okay, that's great. Okay, that's great. There, okay. Let's go to the next question. Then we can definitely come back to this. Yeah. Yes, this is very important. Are there choral directors or organists that inspired you at the time? Or let me say, the organists, choirmasters, or who, apart from Mr. Dejari, who you model your personality, your practice, and your own self, on at the time? Were there, choir masters, choir mistress, particularly as being as a woman in that industry, in that space, who were those who Are there people who were
Please permit me to say that not only choirmasters inspired me, not only choirmasters are my role model. They are not the only one that really made me to be what I am today or what I can do today. I have choirmasters. Let me just start with this. I can say from the very beginning, my first inspiration, as soon as I started my organ journey, was Mama Tolu Obajimi. Mrs. Obajimi, yes. She inspired me. She is in such a way that she made me to have regard for that robe. She made me to see that robe as a garment of glory, because the way Mama carried that robe when she's wearing it and when she's at the organ really made me to look at her and say that one day I'll be greater. And I see that humility in her, which I try to also emulate. I'm trying my best to also go with that. So if and then I look at her that if a woman can stand in the midst of men to be the director, wow, then I can do more. She really inspired me, and she made me to have a lot of regard for that black and white we wear under her robe. I might wear it anywhere. So I don't also hide away from it. I learned that from her. I love her calmness, and I love her dedication to job, even at her old age. So another person I look up to as a role model is also an organist, but is a father too. Why I look at him as a role model, because of the sacrifices that he make and is still making for his church, even as an organist. That is why I just look at myself that I may be an organist, but anywhere I am, I will try my best to make my impact. Whether the church regard it or not, Lord is our divine reward. As organists, we should put that at the back of our minds. It is not all journey. It's not all our organ journey that is going to favor us. Some will bring tears to our eyes. Some will give us sadness. But as much as we look up to God for reward, for grace, He will definitely do the needful for us. And the day He told me that He bought the organ of His church, He's maintaining it, and He's still playing it for them free of charge. Mr. Donatus Ajayi. I was like, and wow. Last time I told him, I said, Daddy, please let these people get organists. At least let them know that we have to pay organists. He was saying they will sometimes. And I just look at him, even when I try to complain, it's going to be like, why must you complain? Is God not taking care of you? You don't have to complain as far as God's grace is with you. Sometimes when I say something happened, I'm not happy about it, I'm tired, I'm this, I'll say, how far with God? Is He doing His part? So you don't have to complain. So I look at Him as a role model, and I just say, God, give me the grace. Even if I'm an organist and on pay, give me the grace to do my part in the best way I could. And the third person I want to talk about, I give all the glory to God for knowing Him. Because if not for God, for Him, for His presence, nobody will even hear my name in that Anglican communion. Let's start of Lagos mainland. Because I started a new, brighter musical journey when our bishop came in, Bishop Pelu Johnson. He's a lover of music. Okay. So as soon the first day he came to our church, I knew that he noticed that organ. He noticed that somebody was there. He noticed that a woman was on that organ. Yes. So from there, he loves music so much. He hears every sound. He knows every sound that's supposed to come from music.
What do you mean by when you know sound? What do you
when you are
by that in terms of
with him
sound?
With him in the service, you cannot vamp a hymn. You have to play the full harmony. He doesn't play, but he knows what the harmony should sound like. So when he came in as a bishop, I can't remember the year. It was a new start for me because music in the diocese was given a better recognition. And that was when the music school came up, Dr. T.K.E. Foundation for Music
We'll definitely
started.
get there, but I really want us to quickly finish this. Where we
It's
start.
my role model.
You were
too.
talking about, talking about Mama Tulu Obajimi, or were there any contact with her in terms of physical contact, taking lessons, or just from afar?
No, I didn't take any lesson from her. We only meet at meetings, like
Okay.
organist meetings. Anytime I visit the cathedral, not that I have a very close relationship with her, no.
Okay.
But anytime I go for their services, anytime I go for concerts, and when we meet at meetings, she's always like, this female organist. Thank God I have another female organist. So that was just.
So it was just two of you.
Then, not now.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, well, definitely we're going to somewhere. We'll definitely get there. So at the time, Mama Tolu Obajimi, at least at meetings, Guild of Organist meetings, you guys have rapport, interaction. Okay.
Yes.
But more from your own end, it was from afar, in terms of our personality, our gesture.
Yes.
Okay, that's great. Again, let's keep that aside. We'll definitely come back to it. Yeah. So, as an organist and choral director, with at least giving your explanation now, it's been a while being part of this journey. Do you have a personal approach in terms of organ playing, or do you have a personal approach? Things, okay, this is me. This is like you talking about playing at the time. Do you have a personal approach in terms of what you do and what you think? When people listen, they know this is you. Is anything like that? I'm talking in terms of approach, in terms of your personality.
Let me just say that approach will be well known to my members.
Church, right?
Yes, at Mushin. Because there's something I train myself with. I don't move around.
What do you mean by moving around?
Except I'm on leave.
Okay.
Except I'm on leave, I don't leave the organ. There is no way you can invite me while I'm supposed to be at the church. At my church at that time, I don't leave.
Okay.
So except it does not collide with church services, that I can be invited and go out. So that approach will be mainly known by my members. And one thing I know about myself is that I love to play hymns very, very well. Okay. I love to play hymns. I love to play hymns very well because the how will I put it? The styles of hymn playings. I love the legato movements. I just love to play hymns. So my approach that maybe when I'm playing hymns, people can know how that is Mrs. George because I've been there for a very long time. This is my 16th year
playing
at Mushin.
Wow.
Yes, it's my 16th year. And I rarely go out because that is one thing that I learned from Mr. Johnson while he was working there. I can't be in the service and he told me, please can you come to a place to play for me? I find it difficult to leave.
So you don't play accompanying festivals, even songs when you are invited?
When I accompanied festivals, I think it was, I can't remember the name of the church now. It's been a very long time. A very, very long time. And as you know, is an industry dominated by men. So they rarely get in touch with me that come and do this for us.
But for your own festival, do you bring people to play for you?
Yes. Okay. I do.
Female or?
Female, no.
Okay.
Male.
Okay. So now, still on that point, talking about you're talking about your style, you like legato, you like So I'm sure on this particular platform, from this particular series, we've been talking about partly in this documentation dialogue series, talking about at least making effort to also get into not so much detail in terms of playing, but we have been trying to also establish ideas around, is there, like questions around, is there anything like specific Nigerian take on organ playing in terms of approach? But now that you mentioned you have your own approach, you like this, so perhaps I can direct that question to you. So, and I will do that from your own, your own practice. So the question is, when you talk about your approach, when you talk about your legato, phrasing, all those things, what do you mean by that? And did you learn this also from your mentors? Is this something that is passed from them, to you, and you are taking ownership of it now? Or something that you yourself, you just, okay, this is how I want to do this thing after learning from A, B, C, D. This is me. This is how I want to do this particular approach playing, or something that indirectly and directly from your training, from mentorship, from apprenticeship, from all the people that has mentored you so far, or is that they pass it down to you? Or I really like to, I'm interested in that, to know about that.
It was passed down.
Okay.
And with the way music is handled in my church, you have no choice but to follow the phrasing, to follow the punctuations. You have no choice than to follow a smooth movement.
You're talking about phrasing. Da, 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 da. Da, da, da. Okay.
That is it. Because the choir on their own, from their own side are observing that phrasing.
Definitely.
They are also following the punctuations.
Yeah.
So once they observe that punctuations, that slight pause must also come from the organ. Yeah. So I got that too, fine from my mentorship, also because of the standard of that choir. So if they, in fact, they'll just tell you punctuations. You'll be getting that signal from them. So once I have the music before me, I also have the words. So I can know where the punctuations are. So you just have to. So it is passed down from mentorship, because I have to learn it too.
Of course.
I learned it. When I got to Mushin, I learned it. I met it there. So I have to follow the process. So, and since then, I'm used to it. So there is no way the choir can sing without punctuation. Even if it's anthem, there is no way you can sing without punctuations. And there is no way you can sing without having a better phrasing. You just have to.
There's another point layer to this area. The layer to it is in terms of registration. Does this have anything to do with phrasing, legato, interpretation, all this, do they have any relationship with registration? When you go from 8 foot down to 16, when you go to all those things, a mixture, how does that, do they have any, is there any relation, is there any in terms of how, or let's say, how do registration help you achieve this goal? Is it part of the culture, registration?
Yes, it is part. From my own understanding, the way I do it, for example, now, the Yoruba hymn book.
Okay, IOM.
Yes. For each verses, IOM have its dynamics.
Of course.
Placed beside it. So definitely you follow that. But for the ones like the church hymn that we use does not have that. So I have to look at the lines, how the lyrics are. So definitely I will have to give the registration that fits each verse.
Okay.
So, but what I really do actually is that verse 1 have to be grand. Okay. We all know that. Then for verse 2, when you want to hear the harmony, you have to release some stops.
Like what and what?
For verse, if I want to get to verse 2, mostly I prefer to remove 4.
4. So
that the sounds can be a bit mild. For it to blend with the harmony, because verse 1 can be loud, because everybody is singing in unison.
Announcement, okay.
So for that 2, let's say it has 5 verses, then 2, 3, I will remove 4. Because for my organ, I use right counts. I think my
And we have also vacancy.
okay. So I think for my swell to great form is a bit loud. So I use it for verse 1. Once I get to verse 2 and 3, I remove it.
So what do you use for verse 2 and 3? What's the contrast you're creating? The palette now.
I want to remove, the 4 feet increase the sound, increase the pitch of those sounds.
Yeah.
So once it is removed, it brings down the pitch a bit to 8 feet.
Definitely.
So that's what I do, so that the harmony, so that they can also be heard. The harmony also have to be heard. Okay. I don't place the organ above the voices, because they also need to be heard. So most times for verse 4, I just leave it a cappella, because most times the choir sings a cappella. Okay. So then the last verse, now give it a grand one. Okay, I think that I'm just waiting. That is very important. So what do you do with the last verse in terms of, I'm sure you know about, I don't know, I don't want to. About improvisation? Yeah, variation. People call it different things. So what is your approach? Let me tell you my take on that, on our variations, the way we create them. Yeah. Some of us use our variations from verse 1. Yes, I've seen it. Some people do use variation. Maybe once the verses starts, they use the variation, which is not, I don't do that. So I prefer that once you have a choir giving you the full harmony, play it for them. Just the 4-part way. Play their 4 parts for them. Let them hear you. Then, if I have to, if the last verse does not have descant, if you like UKZ, they are all taking back their harmony. But if it has descant, you have to play the harmony, because the part for the descant is not played. They are picking their notes from the harmony you are playing. So once you do a variation there, the descant, the sopranos will miss their parts. But once you are given the full harmony for last verse, sopranos will pick their notes. Then good. I like that. Thank you so much. But the question also is the fact that, like when in this part of, let's say, to some extent, let's say in Lagos, there is this, perhaps we can say, people think that if you have not, bring out the mixture and put all the trumpet and everything, I think it's quite common, popular around, So is this the variation you're talking about, or in terms of chord changes, in terms of reharmonization on the go, in terms of choosing, like, also registration can also serve in many occasions as variation. So what exactly do you mean by variation? The advice I give to younger ones that come across me is that if there is an interlude, if you like, go to the sky and come back. Okay. You are playing the interlude. I'm actually coming back to that. Your take on interludes, yeah. So those variations, improvisations can come during the interlude. And if we say come within verses, then make sure that your left hand is steady. Steady. Yes. Make sure that your tenor bass is steady. So it's going to back up the right hand. Anything you're doing at the right hand. But both hands going out of the way, out of the chord, no. It's not a good one. In terms of variation, right? Yes. But if you want to play an interlude, you can make your display, you can do all you want to do. But towards the end of that interlude, bring back your congregation. I think it's just basic. I think, of course, to a larger extent, is what you are saying is part of what we can call the laid down rule for communication in terms of, as an accompanist. You can do whatever you want to do, but you must know when to return back and help them get back to the mood. But most times I see us going, even when the choirs are singing, I see majority of us going out with our variation, totally going out of the harmony, which may mislead a choir that is not musically strong. Then that's my early, that is pointing to my early question about what's your idea of variation, because, also on this platform, we've had, colleagues who have, although not in detail, who have actually,
discussed this to some extent, and also over the years, we've seen different take on this idea of variation. Some people will say, okay, for me, it's just playing, making it jazzy, changing the chord. For me, it's about reharmonization. For me, it's, all this different. And some even say, look, for me, it's about the color, the registration. I want to move, I want to combine at this level, I want to split, I want to do solo, I want to have the trumpet or the clarinet at the, or on the swell and on the grate, I want to have the accompaniment. People have different approach to it. But for you, what is your own approach? How do you do, like you were explaining earlier? So what's your idea of variation? Is it singular or also diverse, diverse in terms of what you do?
Actually, my take on variation depend on the movement or depend on the particular hymn I'm playing. Are you with me, sir?
Yeah.
Now, if I have to play a hymn like let me use St. George again as an example.
Okay.
If I have to play an interlude for St. George, da 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 da. If I have to play an interlude with it, I think it is best I go with the movements of that hymn. Then what I can just do is just to add notes in between, like
Yeah.
So if those, that kind of arrangement,
of course, yeah.
definitely I'm not out.
In this case, now you are doing
of the context.
melodic variation.
Yes,
now.
I'm not out of the
Still
context.
based on the same chord structure changes.
Yes, that is my own take on it. Don't let them get lost totally that people watch Limbenye.
It's now becoming a kind of
maybe because
right?
of where I work. Because both choir and congregation at Mushin have years. They have years. If you play what I'm not supposed to play, they would, even from the I see people come to me from the congregation and say, Miss George, that bass is supposed to be so, not do. Yes.
Wow.
So when I'm playing, I open my brain. Yes.
Wow. So, okay, let's bring it back to where this question started from, which is the idea, the assumption perhaps that is there anything like organ tradition or approaches from Nigerian perspective? And from what you have said, do you think, okay, since what you are saying now are things that that you met in terms of people transfer to you both directly and indirectly from your mentorship, so can we then say, okay, is there something like across places, let's say from the Mushin axis where Lagos mainland axis now, so does that mean that there are established ways of doing this thing across places, or you just think, oh, maybe those people are just doing their own, they are approaching it on their own way? So what I'm saying is that would you conclude or assume that, okay, because this is the way I have been impacted, mentored, and that's what I'm doing now, do you think that is an established practice?
No.
Okay.
No, because we all have our different styles.
Okay.
Even in teaching the choir, we have our styles. In training choristers, we have our different styles.
Yeah.
So I can't say that is an established way. No.
Okay.
And I may come to your side or to your church and get one or two things from them.
Okay. So the learning
continues. The learning continues. That has happened several
ideas here and there. Okay.
Yes, I do get ideas from maybe concerts, even from people from older colleagues, even from younger ones. I sometimes go to a younger colleague that, please, now when we start my organ class, and he was just looking at me now, said, seriously, don't think I can't get anything from you.
Definitely.
So I can't say that what I know is the established way. No.
Definitely. No, I'm not saying it's even an established way. What I'm saying is that because, of course, part of this documentation, dialogue, recounting this long history of organ music in Nigeria is also part of it. We have seen controversies, we have seen, argument, we have seen different people taking different positions. Of course, this platform, this is a university. It's part of what we do. We allow things to evolve. We curate ideas, and we allow people to express themselves. We don't try to stop anybody. So, and part of that, and that's why I'm asking you, okay, since this is an ongoing conversation, what do you think about it? So it is not that I'm not saying establish, I'm only sampling your own opinion as part of this dialogue, of course. Yeah. So yeah, let's move to the next one, because we need to open to our colleagues, and they really want to talk to you. They want to ask you. They want to, they have questions for you. So, okay, the next one, which I think we can, one more, or we can even stop from this, is that as an organist, okay, I think as a woman in the men-dominated organ music industry, what are the challenges you have faced, and how have you been navigating these challenges over the years?
What a question.
Yeah.
There have been challenges, huge one, huge one. And in fact, I can't even start to think or talk about it. Even among colleagues in the church. And sometimes challenges that brought tears, that even made me say, God, I didn't want to do this work again. It has happened, and it's still happening. But my only consolation and comfort is that for all we do as organists, and that is what we must put at the back of our minds, churches cannot give us all that we want.
Okay.
They can't respect our opinion all the time. But we need to see ourselves, we need to see this job more of our calling than a profession.
Calling.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
If you see it as a calling, I am called to play this organ here. I am called because as organists, we are ministers. When you are coming from the altar, from the chancel, the clergy are there, the choir, the next person you see is the organist. So it means that we are at the high place in the church.
Yeah.
So anything we do must display Christ.
Yeah.
We must not serve in flesh alone. And that has been my strength all through these years. That God, for all I do at this organ, give me my reward. I'm not counting on any man. And in a kind of industry that is dominated by men, challenges. There are challenges because.
Can you just outline a few of 2, 3? As I'm sure there are people who want to learn.
Within my colleagues, I don't really have much challenges, because as a matter of fact, in Diocese of Lagos mainland, at least I think we have female organists in our diocese. But I'm kind of a bit older with the older men there. So we rarely have challenge because I don't cross my boundary. I don't face another man's territory. And once we have issues and I know that I'm involved, I tell you right there. If I have to move closer to you, I do. If I don't, then I move back. But with the men in Lagos mainland, I rarely have it because most of them see me as, I always tell them, I'm your baby. You just have to pamper me. So when we have misunderstandings, we just make it slide. But in terms of church too, there are several challenges. And I must use this opportunity to talk to our colleagues that in all that we do, don't let what we face at church make us sin against us. Make us to sin against God. Because one thing is that so many things happen in church. I've seen some instances whereby maybe organists are angrily left church or angrily leaving churches. I'm not even doing again. I'm not this, I'm not that. I have the right to leave anytime I want to leave, but not with any disagreement. If I leave a place, I must be able to go back there.
Mm.
So whatever the challenges may be in everything that we do, I can say that I'm an example and a product of grace.
Mm.
Not that I can't say that my organ journey is a rosy one. It is not. Even up to now, it is not a rosy. I'm not enjoying it as a matter of fact.
How?
Yes, but everything lies on God.
What do you mean you're not enjoying it?
Hey, sometimes when you feel that.
Are you talking about in terms of the economic benefits, in terms of the social dynamics, gender balance, gender imbalance, power relations, or
I can say that talking about the gender balance, we female organists, we are going through some things that the men won't go through.
like what one and what?
Where a male organist will stand and talk to members, not choristers.
Church.
I mean, yes, if female organist is stand, they will look at who is the woman. Yes, that's my experience.
Do we see? Okay. I think I get your point. But for me, the question then would be, okay, are we not talking about underrating why a woman, or
that's the one.
Underrating,
that is the word.
not giving the same value to
men.
men,
that
to the
given
same
to
they
men.
giving to men,
That
and
is
giving
the word.
giving
Yes,
the same value.
that is it.
Okay. Then the question is, if this is happening, do you think this is affecting the in terms of motivation for female ladies to go into this business, or to want to ascribe or align, or be part of the
That is why I say that if you are a female organist, be focused. Know where you are going. Even when I started my organ journey, I was in the midst of choristers that didn't want me to start. As a matter of fact, that choir was dissolved because I started learning the organ. And we were all sent away, including the choir master.
Wow.
So up to now, it's still happening. But yeah, I am still standing. So as a female organist, it is just the pure fact that we are not given the same rating.
The same rating,
yes,
same value.
Even if you like, carry that organ and put it on your head. Which is what has to be looked into.
Now, this one also can we say this is peculiar to particular environment, or do you think it's perhaps a general thing that has to do with the Nigerian system structure, particularly our idea of culture and how we see ourselves in terms of male-dominated society? Do you think this is what is feeding into this arena, or it is peculiar to these churches because of that environment?
I can say it's peculiar to churches. But for me, my own experience and my own consolation is, number one, God, and number two, the choir I'm dealing with, because they made me.
Yeah.
That choir made me. So I just believe that, okay, let me give back. Now I know more than I knew when I got there. Let me give back. So something that does happen in the church environment, I just play dumb to it and move on, with the hope that one day God will make you where there seems to belong. And that's what we have to put at the back of our minds as organists. Seriously, no journey is rosy. If you jump out of a church and go to another, we don't even know what we are going to meet there.
Same place, yeah.
That is just
now. So, but it's quite interesting the way you outline the fact that male organists are more valued or respected
than yes,
than
female. Yes.
So how do you think we can meet? Is there any way we can mediate this or make it less visible? Do you think it's possible?
It should be possible.
Do you think it's possible?
It should.
Then how? What do you think we need to do?
What I would just say is that any church having a female as their organist should just give them the respect they deserve, the kind of respect I don't know you give to a man. Don't see her as a woman, or don't let me say don't see her as a woman. She's a woman, but when you see her and she's talking, the organist is talking. not that woman is talking. It's different.
So you mean the position of the organist is in most cases detached from the person of the organist?
Most times.
The
and especially in churches where you have to have organist and choirmaster. Like my church now is organist, choirmaster.
Okay.
So at least either female, young or old, the choirmaster is talking.
Is a choirmaster.
Not Mrs. George now. At least, because you know that in some churches when those men are talking, I knew when men are talking now. And at least even before there will be a response, there's going to be a slight thinking, okay, let's think about what he said.
Wow.
Than when a female organist is talking and it's going to be like, she's a woman.
She's a woman.
So I think it is possible, depending on the churches where we find ourselves, we should just try our best to give the organist, the choir masters, the director of music, the respect they deserve.
So on that note, what will be your advice to younger aspiring female organists? What will be your advice to them?
My advice to them is to be focused and just hold on to the song that said, it's best to serve Jesus, whatever that costs, whatever may be happening. Just have your focus. You love God than anything, and anything that concerns the church. As a young female organist, don't joke with it. Do your bit, do your best, even in the midst of what do I call it? Even when you are not supported, do your best. Let God know that you are putting in your best. Seriously, the being a female organist has been a lot of grace for me. Because when 10 men are standing, they will still see me that, yes, that woman is there. We have that grace as female organists. We have that grace. Because I'm just saying, we want a woman here. When we have 4 men, let there be 1 woman here. So that has really made me to go to some places. That has given me the grace to go to some places. We have a lot of grace as female organists. We have lots of grace, because if you happen to have a concert now and you see a female organist, if you invite 5 male organists, you want a female to be there, just come, because the presence of that female organist, we add beauty to it.
The question is, even for instance, like what we are doing this conversation,
yes,
where are the female organists? What is the demography like? In terms of, can we say it is 90 to 10 in Lagos, for instance, or even from your own diocese, from your own, cycle? Can we say it's 8 to
in my
2
diocese,
or 2 to?
My diocese, I think we'll have about 3.
3?
Yes.
Wow.
But my advice to them is just to continue to push on. Don't feel tired. Just continue, whatever the case may be.
3 in the old diocese?
Yes, they are just coming up. But you know what we are going to endure at this time, they may not be able to endure it. So my advice is just continue to push. It's not a rosy journey. But at the end of it all we learn and praise. We just have to encourage them.
Yeah, but quickly, we are opening for our colleagues online to ask questions right now. In terms of economic benefit, do you think, what can you say about that in terms of economic benefit, salary, pay?
Economic benefits. Zero.
Zero?
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
To women.
To women. So do you mean the same issue regarding value? Is it also extending to how they pay?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
So men are,
I think so,
well paid then. Okay.
Yes, I think so. And it has been looked into, because we're also doing the same thing that the men are doing. My organ is Unico 600. Right count.
Okay.
It's very big. And as it is big, I sit down and play it now. And if a man too comes there, the man too will sit down and play now.
So you mean in terms of even payment, in terms of welfare package, in terms of it is not balanced?
It's not. It's not. Because what a male organist will tell the church that he wants, that will be done weekly. Female organist, we don't really push. Me as a person, I don't really push. I don't push, because I have organists that will tell the church I need increments. Some will even write and give ultimatum. I have an organist who told his vicar that if you don't increase my salary at a particular time, I will leave. But I think we women, we have this kind of feeling that don't just let it get messed up. You just have to continue pushing the work of God. That is what I do. So I don't really push for increment. Not that I don't need it, but it's like even when you don't push it, the church won't do anything. That's it. I think that is the reason why the men are always saying it. So I think, but women will just be looking at, well, they should know what to do. But it's not coming forth.
Wow, it's not coming forth. Yes, friends and colleagues, it's been an interesting journey today with our dear sister, Sister George today, Abiodun George. And thanks so much. So let's open the platform. I'm sure you have questions, you have things you want to ask, and you also want to contribute. Particularly, we have just learned about what would have been an assumption, perhaps from afar, but rightly from our, we just had a clear picture of the gender disparities, in this in the organ landscape. So, what is your opinion? Do you have any question for her, or what do you think? So, kindly use the the buttons there. You can see, raise your hand and ask your question. Thank you so much. So, okay, while we are waiting for that, I think I have one question here in the comment, in the chat. So this is from Matthew Agba, and I'm reading now. Please, ma, what what advice do you have for young or upcoming female pianists and organists in Nigerian society today, looking at the present economic plight and environment we find ourselves? I think that's what she just, we just address right now. So let's get some more questions that we can address everything together. So if you please kindly use the, button there and ask your question. We'd like to hear from you. What do you think? Question, and let's push the conversation forward. Okay, I can see. So I have two questions here. One is from Dr. Oloranti. One is from T.K.E, Temitope Oladele. Okay, let's start from Dr. Oloranti, then we'll move in that direction to Temitope Oladele. You have the floor, sir.
Good day, sir. Good day, everybody. Good day, Mrs. George. Nice to see you smiling as usual. You didn't talk about smiling as your trademark. I don't know whether people know about that. Firstly, two things I want to first comment on. Mrs. George, I think you shouldn't worry about this gender imbalance and things. I think in a way, Dr. Ayorinde is already fighting your battle for you. Last week, he's the curator of this program. Last week, we had Dr. Odunoga, a woman educationist and frontliner in Nigerian academia. We've had Dr. Cecilia Dorojaye. Now we have you. So is all in very quick succession. So that tells you that maybe there's something happening. And then we should be scared, actually, that you people want to take over now. So I think your battle is being fought already. Now, I just want to ask you, you mentioned something which resonates with me, and which something we found in the industry about organ playing, hymn playing in church. This structure of you have the choir singing first verse in unison, you play deep first verse, second verse, you come down, and then you wait for the masquerade to come out on the last verse, and then you go to town, that kind of thing. And I remember when I was very, very active in church music, especially in my days at Tarimo, if I played 5 hymns, that's the way I would play it. Big sound, first verse, and then look out to the last verse. Don't you think we should challenge that structure? And if we challenge it, what's going to come out of it? I know that like you play in the Anglican church where it's all liturgical music and things are structured. Do you get it? But if we wait a minute and ask ourselves, you eat pounded yam for lunch today, would you eat pounded yam for dinner? Then tomorrow you eat pounded yam again, pounded yam, pounded yam, pounded yam, pounded yam. It's not even good for the body, So isn't it time? And I'm asking because it's about tradition. And we challenge tradition. And then is there a basis to challenge tradition? For example, there's some hymns that maybe the first verse requires it to be quiet. Maybe the last verse requires, the music to be contemplative, and it's going to be a distraction to play a variation. Maybe a hymn, okay, for that structure that we talk about, would it work during Lent, for example, or the Holy Week, service, which is very high point in Christendom in liturgical circles, leading to the Good Friday service. Can we practice that? So I'm just wondering like you're speaking, it seems like in your church, there's a structure, there's a tradition. Can't we be free as musicians? Can't we challenge? Maybe it's easy for me because I was born and bred in CAC as the Spirit directs. Can't we just loosen up a bit and let the Spirit direct us? What do you think?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, sir. If you also notice in my response when Dr. Ayorinde asked me, I said, depending on the lyrics. Depending on the lyrics. Now, release might require you to blow it out. It might require you to do it anyhow. Not that I'm sticking to a tradition, no. But I'm just, and I also mentioned it that if we have to do a kind of variation, it's best for us to maintain maybe the harmony of the left hand is always best. That because majority of us go out of the harmony totally. And I also say that even if we have to do the variation a bit, we should bring back the congregation. So it's clear that we can do it just as Dr. Renato said, as the Spirit leads, but we must not go off track. In a situation whereby the chorus, that's why I said it is mostly good when you have an interlude, no one is singing. But I've seen a situation whereby the choir at the place where the choristers had, I think, chord 5, and the organ giving us minor third.
Like a diminished chord or a minor chord.
A minor chord, yes. Okay. And then we have chord 5. So, and we landed together.
Wow.
So how do we, and you are trying to play variation on that particular verse. So if you have to play variation for a verse when the choir is singing, then just make sure that the variation is going with the chord they are singing. But when we have our interlude, in fact, we can do anything. I mentioned it that anything, just go to the sky, but make sure that you bring us back, which was the explanation I made, sir.
I also think we also need to find a way to break down this idea of variation, because perhaps many people they don't understand the idea of variation. Variation does not entail that in this context of hymn accompaniment or hymn singing, does not entail that you just play whatever you like. Even in jazz,
that is the challenge.
Even in jazz, it's not just play whatever you like. You are still playing. You can still vary a particular chord, chord 5, and still maintain. In fact, variation is even still based on the chord.
Yes.
Variation does not change the chord, does not change it, but you can still vary it in a way that you still maintain the foundation, and people can still go with the foundation. Like what you said the other time, like the melodic variation. That can still be managed, yeah.
They can
even the chord arrangement, you can invert it in a way that you still respect the singers, you still respect the progression. I think we might need to have a session on workship on how the idea of variation, what does it mean? How do you go about basic explanation? Because like what you just said, I've seen a lot of that.
Dr. should organize that.
Of course. So you are trained to Dr. Ronald.
Can I add something to that thought?
Definitely.
You know that the late Oladele was a student assistant organist to him. I can't remember him ever deviating from set tunes. He doesn't play variation, and only to sparingly. He sticks to music a lot, and I think these people in so doing, they are more considered. I mean, they're more concerned about worship, about being a churchman, and what Oladele does is even more complicated when he plays. He's thinking more of colors, registration, and text painting. He does a lot of text painting, to interpret the sound that people hear, and he doesn't. And then he plays in a very interesting way. He doubles his melody. He plays the melody octave, so that he says that the congregation must be able to hear the melody clearly. So he doubles, and he plays
variation.
Wow.
Yeah, he doubles the melody in the right hand, and he plays alto and tenor in the left, and bass on the pedal. That's the way he plays all the hits, and does a lot of registration. So maybe, like you said, I mean, it's food for thought for us, because a lot of us, we don't know the difference between showmanship and churchmanship.
At all.
I've been guilty, and I can say that. You just want to show off your skills. You want to make the organ loud and play all sorts of variations and things like that. I mean, what does it contribute to worship? What does it contribute to liturgy? Thank you very much.
Oh,
thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Yeah, let's go to the next our next call. Can we have it, please?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, sir. My name is Temitope George. Yeah, my namesake, and I'm glad to know that. I play the saxophone, and well, I'm not an organist, but I want to talk about the issue or the challenge of gender disparity. Yes, just like the organ, there are so many other instruments or even music generally that is male dominated. In fact, our society is patriarchal. So so many complaints about patriarchy and gender disparity has been going on over the years, especially in Africa. But one of the things that I have who are involved, let's say the victims of these challenges are the people who really do not care or feel that there's nothing we can do about it. So, ma'am, you are, like you have said in the discourse today, you said that you are one of the oldest female organists around presently, since Mama Obajimi. And for that reason, I feel that you are, capable. You have the power now to take some steps. Unlike trying, because whatever it is that we do not want as women, or even in a democratic society, whether you're a man or woman, you have the power to, stand for what you want and then negate whatever it is you do not want. Because one of the problems plaguing our country today is the fact that we do not want something, but we just, leave it like that, waiting for others to do it for us. So, ma'am, I want to believe that having a little union, maybe with permission from somebody like Mama Obajimi and, some very big names in the organ music industry, to, start up a little forum for ladies who play the organ.
Okay.
Might be of help. And it is not just because we want to be rebellious. It is because we want to encourage more people into the industry. The reason for this particular seminar is to bring in more women. Why do we have only men? If we look at the population ratio in the country, it is not as if we have so much more men than women. No, it is just that women have been, degraded to some other minor things like just cook or just sell in the market. So you see women with master's degree and all they do is do, vendor. I sell on Instagram, on Twitter. I sell shoes, I sell bags. If you look at him or her, she has a master's degree, she has a bachelor's degree, but she cannot do anything with it. The other thing they will do is maybe makeup industry and a fashion industry. That's the only other place where women are thriving. But then I believe that women can also thrive in whatever thing they have chosen to do, like music. We are in music, we have studied music, or we have learned how to play, and we're doing well at it. Then we should also fight for our right to be heard, to be seen, and to be valued. And that starts from people like you who have been in the industry for a while. You can help us to, bring around more ladies. Let all the ladies see you as somebody who will be there for them. Wow. And with that, we are able to form a formidable team. More ladies will be encouraged by that, come into the industry. And before you know it, we'll have a good ratio of women to men. Instead of having 10 to 2 or 20 to 3. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
That is just a little suggestion. But I also would like to appreciate your comfort, your strength, your tenacity now, because I understand when you say, "Oh, it's been a very challenging journey," and you were the only one at the time, apart from Mama and all of that. So I appreciate your tenacity, and I do hope that through this your strength, you'll be able to also pull up more people to
Thank you very much,
become
ma'am.
as powerful as you are.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll work on that.
just want to ask, this encouragement and empowerment for women, this thought, are you really going to achieve it through by galvanizing yourselves into a group, having a platform? Will that really take you anywhere? You mentioned it that it's a patriarchal society we are in. Don't you think the society will treat you as rebels responding to Western dynamics? Is that really the way to go? Or why don't you think of integrating yourself into mainstream platforms and make sure you are heard? You know, that's one thing. But more importantly, I think you should be thinking of other things like maybe find a way that we will have grants and scholarships to encourage women, maybe go after entrepreneurs in the society. You should be talking to universities and business departments, to have special uh, incentives, like scholarships and things like that, grants for women musicians, for girl musicians. I think that might be a kind of incentive to which would encourage,
Yes, sir.
rather than starting a women liberation group or platform. So thank you very much.
That's not the plan, sir. We're not trying to, you know, form a rebel group or that kind of thing. But all of the things you have just mentioned will be done when there is a formal agreement. She alone or any other person alone cannot just stand to do something. Every other person might feel like they are loading things on them because they don't even know the reason why those things are being done. It will be like the case of the Israelites asking Moses, why have you come to save us? Do we need a savior? So, but if there is a formal agreement that we are just here, we're not here so that you can go back to the men and fight them or something. We're here to look for a way to, let our voices be heard. These are options. These are things. Then that is why I even said with permission from even the men. There are men there up there that can help, that can even give you ideas, just like you have done now. Give us ideas. What can you do for your voices to be heard? If you do this, if you put in for this grant or something, this is how you go about it, and it will help you. But if it is just one person, the person will get lost as to how to do it. So the whatever association is not for rebellion, and it is not to fight. No, it is just a way to keep ourselves together and have an agreement on how to get better. There we can even teach ourselves. So the people who are better, because one of the things that I have also noticed is the fact that yes, women complain that they are not being heard, but some of the times they are not very good at their craft. And that is also owing to many other patriarchal issues, like having to, spend more time at home, in the kitchen, and taking care of children and all of that. But if we are good, there are some cases where I have seen that a woman who is really good cannot be ignored, even if they try to. At some point, somebody will speak for her that, no, this person can do better than you. So if we even help ourselves to become better at our craft and, come together to form a formidable team, it will help us more. So it is not about fight or rebellion, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Tope, and thanks for the wonderful insight. So just one thing, if you, I just want to okay. On the point of like from what Dr. Oluranti said and Tope also. Okay, like what Tope just explained and what Dr. Oluranti also commented, Fortunately for us, particularly from the organ perspective, what we are doing is also to encourage this kind of dialogue, to mediate. That's the role of this department, for God's sake. And this is a university. That is what we are doing to bring people, to the platform, to create platform, to address these common issues that unite or unified collective ideas like this. And I'm happy that my sister, attended say yes to our invitation. But another point is also that last Saturday, the Nigerian Guild of Organists just had a grand anniversary, a 10 years anniversary. That is the question we can now ask is, what is the, perhaps I need to ask my sister, Mrs. Abiodun George, that what is the association doing to uplift or to spotlight the voice of the women in Nigerian organ industry or the scene? Is the guild doing anything regarding this? Is the guild, mediating this? What is the guild doing? Perhaps that can also help us, because the guild is a big organization, and given the kind of, grand, finale, grand anniversary you had, grand, that Saturday, so what is the guild doing about this?
Not that I have a very close link. I just know that they are organists there. Not that we have a very close relationship. Not that they ask me any question or anything. No, but I just know that you play somewhere. You are an organist somewhere. That's all I know. So we need to come out and associate ourselves. Me, from the very beginning, I associate myself with the men. Even when I was the only one in their midst, I make sure that I associate myself very well with them, right from the very beginning, from the start of my career. So we need to associate ourselves. We need to know people. Like when they said the guild is having the 10th anniversary last week, where are the female organists? At least the membership forms were available there for new members. So you can always come. I'm an organist. I play this and you get the membership form. I think we're just two. We're just two. There were there, myself and Mrs. Okunoga. That's the two of us.
Okay. Thank you so much. Like I mentioned earlier, so from our own end as a department, as university, we are taking up a challenge, and like Dr. Olunoti mentioned earlier, we are taking up a challenge to create a platform to represent, the what we can say in the technical term, the marginalized voice, particularly the women in our society, and particularly for those who have worked so hard to get to a formidable level of in terms of skill and professionalism. So that is one of the reasons. That's for this platform. That is what we do. We mediate, we create space, and we nurture talent. We nurture ideas as a university and as a department. So we'll continue with that, and we're going to do that. We'll continue with what we are doing. So, but again, I am also calling out or inviting the Guild of Organists into this conversation. Perhaps the next move to do is to bring the president to this platform. Yeah, the Guild of Organists president to this platform, and bring my sister and one other women or organists again. Exactly, to discuss. Yes, we are willing to do that, and that is what we are doing.
Our place in the guild.
Exactly. Well, fine. Not just telling. Of course, not just telling us the place of women. It's also to find a way to negotiate the positionalities of women in our society, particularly from the organ perspective. You know, you mentioned earlier that churches don't value female organists the same way they value, we should all be concerned about that. We should all be concerned. We should be concerned about that kind of. So, and I promise you, we are going to bring the president or ESCOs from the Nigerian Guild of Organists to this platform, and we'll bring you again. And one more, we'll get more, female organists and discuss this. And again, particularly in this season, we have lineup of not just in the areas of organ, also in scholarship. We are going to engage female scholars, women scholars, women who are doing greater things in our society. We have started that, and we are not going to give up on it. We are going to stay to that aims and objectives to make sure we represent what, as a department of music, to mediate this kind of collective challenges in our society. So, yes, can we have Professor Adeolu Okunade, please?
Well, thank you, the moderator and our guest speaker today. I felt so excited when I read that announcement of this program. I thank God I was able to make it. I was thinking it was going to be tomorrow. Well, usually it's me on Thursdays, but thank God that I made it. Well, while I'm congratulating the Organ House for being consistent in this program, I also want to express my satisfaction, so to say, with our speaker today, Sister Abiodun George. God bless you, ma'am. Well, I want to quickly add and also react to a few of the things you have said. Thank God for Dr. Lunoti, who talked about churchmanship and showmanship. And when he was discussing Oladele and Ayorinde, both of them have blessed memory of what they used to do together. And when they were talking about relation, I remember that I'm not an organist. I won't call myself one, but I know where my keys are. There. And I remember that one of the things that was so difficult for me when I wanted to do relation was to transfer the melody to the pedal. It was so difficult for me. So when I see people doing it more exactly, I always doff my heart. So I doff my heart for you, Mrs. George. Having said that, what I want to add is that my first reaction is the issue of not being fair to female organists. I don't agree. Why I'm saying that is how many female organists do we have in Nigeria? That's one first thing you have to put. How many of them have been unfairly treated? Because we should not take just one statistic and generalize. I do not know whether we have up to 10 female organists. If we have up to 10, and all of them are saying the same thing, then we cannot take it as our result. But we cannot take that. I'm talking of voice. So we cannot take that clearly. If you have more, and we have not done that, that is on the one hand. On the other hand, is this that I support your intended moves to have a guild of female organists or field of female organists and music directors. But that is not enough. That will not fight our cause. What can fight our cause very well now is to increase the number of female organists. Then how do we do that? You know, many people don't know what organ is in the society. They know keyboards. With the emergence of Pentecostal church, and I don't know, I don't want to say unfortunately, but the thing is that even the mainline churches, the Anglican, the Methodist, the Baptist, they are not even trying to be more Pentecostal than the Pentecostal people. So that is killing that art. So one, we need to let people know more about organ and organ music in our society. So what do you do, Sister Abiodun George? I want to challenge you. I want to ask you, have you ever given a recital? Have you ever organized a concert? These are the things that can bring people and inspire people. Go to Queen's College, hire an organ, go there with other female organists. Let them see that too. See this thing that you are using your hand to play, you are even using your leg to play the same thing. Young ladies will be inspired. Organize a concert in your church. Give it any name. It's branding. And the way you are speaking, you are talking well, that is God's grace. So it's kingdom business that must be well publicized. If you have a good product, you don't let it die. Organize a concert in your church for just organ, maybe just one item that will be voice and organ, choir and organ or solo. And you are the one playing. Mama Tuloba Jimmy, I don't know if Mama is still playing now. She's the one playing. The other lady is the one playing. All of you ladies. And you extend your invitation more. Some parents will be inspired there. They will encourage their daughters to play. If you do this thing consistently, and they see female appearance all the time, I can assure you with God's grace, look here, next 10 years, you see people coming up. There is no much you can do with Guild of Female Organists in the midst of 200 men and you have 3 women. It's issue of number. So I want to congratulate you again. I'm happy I was able to join this session, but I will plead that my opinion be regarded. God bless you. Thank you.
Okay, just a quick one. Our colleagues online, ladies and gentlemen, and professional colleagues, I am happy to let you know that we have the Chancellor of Mountaintop University and the General Overseer of Mountain Fire Miracle Ministries worldwide with us on this platform today. So kindly join me to welcome our GO and the Chancellor. Kindly join me to welcome Professor Daniel Olukoya. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us, sir. It's great to see you today. Thank you so much, sir. Okay. I don't know if, okay. When perhaps it's nice to hear us also, we're also privileged also in being the grand patron of Nigerian Association of Organists, So I think it's indeed a family meeting today. Yes, yeah. He is the grand patron for the Guild of Organists Nigeria. Yeah. So from his own position as the grand patron, I would definitely want him to say something, particularly to claim or the, it's like a concern of our sister in terms of the role of women in the guild. So initially I was talking about inviting the president and the ESCO. Now we have the CEO of the grand patron of the organization itself. So we have him with us today, which is quite a huge privilege to have him. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for joining us, sir. Okay, perhaps while we're waiting for Professor Olukoya, we might just want to react to that. What Professor Kwande said. You go ahead and say.
Yes, as he's saying it, I'm beginning to think of what to do. What is said just now were the things I was doing in the early 2001, 2, 3. That was where I started to get the publicity. That was where I started to know people. And the person that really took me out, the first concert I had, it was a concert of Zenith Voices. It's still on now, and it's been led by Dr. Fade. So that was my any concert Zenith Voices were having then. He always makes sure that I have a piano presentation. Yes, which really helped me. That was before I got married anyway. So as Professor is talking now, I'm just trying to think of 1 or 2 things to do. And hopefully, I'm looking at what can be done before the end of this year. So I will get back on that.
Okay. So, Professor Kwande, so Sister Abiodun, just
And we'll try to feature the even the upcoming. I'm just thinking of we'll do something for the end of this year, by the special grace of God, no matter how small.
okay. Okay, we have a comment here. Let's see. Oh. Oh, thank you so much, sir. Professor Luca had just responded to us in the chat, and okay, I'm going to read to everyone who is joining us across the world. Yeah, so God bless you. Carry on. I am a keen observer today because I have been pushing ladies to the organ in MFM. Wow. Please go on. Wow, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I think your case is has been settled now. So there's a place where even women are pushed to go and play the organ.
In fact, if you have to do something like that, we involve only the women at the organ.
Only the women at the organ.
Yeah.
Because in this department, the department has produced one of the, at least right now in this current generation, has produced one of the best and most visible in this department. Last week. And I think even in this, the department is also working on producing more and spotlighting women.
We work on it, and we organize a concert, no matter how small, that will involve just the women.
We'll be happy to collaborate with you, the Organist and Seminar Series.
I'll definitely
to collaborate with you in achieving such.
Thank you very much.
We'll definitely be happy to collaborate and work with you.
We'll definitely work on it.
So, dear friends and colleagues, in case you have questions, okay, Dr. Luranti, okay, can we have you?
Should we be scared? Should we be scared? You know, because they say that when you plant a seed, it will surely germinate. It seems the women really want to take things over, and
because
I'm concerned now because of Dr. Lukaya's response, because he once said that if you don't want something to fail, involve women.
Yes, yes.
I said involve women if you don't want something. And now that is pushing women into organ playing, this seed is, I think we should be concerned as men. Dr. Ayorinde, please note that.
As you know, we are open and we are willing to push more women, as Gio has promised. So, and we are going to do that. So, and as I've promised my sister, we are going to collaborate with her and the other women to stage at least women alone concert and other events. Just please watch out for that. I'm announcing. Yeah. Okay. We have Adejube. Okay, Mr. Prince Adejube Ademuyiwa, can we have you, please?
Well done, sir and ma, for the good job. I think women involvement in the organ playing is really necessary. But from my own end, it will look like there is a decline too from my own end. Like I mentioned the other time when we were talking, where there was a presentation about John Aino on the organ at the concert house, that not too many people know that even the organist of the apostolic faith before John Aino was a woman. It was a woman organist who was the first organist in the apostolic faith. And looking at the trend, it might look like maybe women are running away or are declining. I won't know. Well, in our own organization, like I said, that the principal organists are the headquarter judge at the Anthony Village was a woman before John Aino came in 1963. That means before, women has been on the organ over, when you talk about early 50s, 50s there. And I remember that the first two churches that started, the first two branch churches we have that started outside Anthony Village was Agege Church and Otto Church. The first organists in those churches were women, too, which I worked with some of them in the mid-80s, both at Agege. In fact, the first three organists we have there were women. Succession. So I don't know, maybe we need to look, maybe it's a research, it could be a research topic to see why the decline in the lady organist is. Maybe it might be something that we need to look at to know maybe what is. Is it the job of the organist is becoming too much that women are drawing back or on it? We still have really women organists in our place who play, but when you look at the proportion to men is too far behind. If they started from there, by now we were supposed to see more of women organists in the churches. But for now, even if you look through our branch churches, you will see few women coming on the organ. Thank you, Sir Amas.
Okay, I think before, definitely you are going to respond, definitely. But I think, as mentioned earlier, it's actually a family day today, it's a community day. I am also happy to announce to us that we have our mother, Mrs. Elizabeth Olukoya in the house also. So thank you so much, ma. We are happy to have you on this platform with us today, and it's also quite encouraging to have daddy and mommy with us today. Perhaps you have, in fact,
I'm blessed.
You are blessed indeed, yeah. So as you mentioned earlier, it's a family, it's a community, it's a family meeting.
Yeah.
So thanks so much, ma. Thanks
Thank
for
you,
joining
ma.
us.
Thank you,
Thanks so
sir.
much for joining us today. Thank you so much. So you want to say something?
Yes, I want to respond to what he just said, that the female organists are not coming out. Sir, it takes a lot. It takes a lot. If you have to be a female organist in our churches now, you need to have a very strong shock absorber.
What do you mean by shock absorber?
Because you will receive it right, left, front, and back. You receive from members, you receive from priests, you receive from choristers. So a lot of us are just scared. That is the reason why you see most female organists applying as assistant organists, because assistant organists don't have too much pressure. Or you see them going to smaller churches. I can't begin to share my experience as a choir director at my church. It's been the grace of God.
Okay.
So that is why you see majority of us running back. But I think now we just have to encourage ourselves.
Well, again, as mentioned earlier, of course, good that we're having this conversation, and this is what this platform is aims to achieve, and other things, providing platform for critical conversations, pushing established ideas critically and rigorously, expanding of basic assumption of giving ideas. So we are going to, as mentioned earlier, we are going to support this agenda, particularly from what Professor Okwan just said.
Thank you very much.
So we are going to do that, and also because this department itself has produced, at least we can say in Nigeria, perhaps the first female organ scholar. So we are going to do more of that. We are going to do all that, and we are going to get it. We are going to support the initiative. We are going to support it. So, yeah. So do we have other questions? We have questions as we are rounding up for today.
I'm raising my hand, sir.
Okay. Oh, okay. Let's have it from.
Well, just a quick one. I don't know whether it's on a lighter mood. Can we please insist, moderator, since you have our daddy and our mother Olukoya here, can we insist that they should just say something? Let them just bless us with their voice. So they cannot just say they are king of servers. Agreed. Tell them that they are children and say, just bless us with a word of prayer, with a word of prophecy. Let's enjoy that. It's not all the time. We can get that close community with them. So can we insist? I'm asking. Thank you.
Oh, well, I don't know. You know, Daddy has he sent a note here and has read. God bless you. I think that's a prayer.
Yes, amen.
God bless you. That's a
Amen.
big one. Okay, I'm going to read again his message. God bless you.
I got the best.
Carry on. I am a keen observer today because I have been pushing ladies to the organ in MFM. I think the God bless you says it all. So let me go say it again. God bless you.
Amen.
Okay, let's okay. Thank you so much, bro. Let's have Dr. Agatha, please.
Hello. I so very much enjoy this. This has been very eye-opening for me. I'm not an organist by any chance. I hardly go to any keyboard instrument. I'm a singer, for those that know me. But I really was eager to join this meeting when I saw the flyer and I saw that the conversation was about, female musicians, especially to the organ. This is very impressive. The way my contribution, or would I say question/contribution, would be that the way our society is set up is kind of like detrimental to the furtherance of women in any instrument, especially one as vigorous as the organ, because women are in Nigeria, let's say in Nigeria, the typical setting, women are the homemakers, we are the child bearers, we were the one that have the kids, we get pregnant, we give birth to the kids, and then we nurture the kids for almost all their lives. And so like it is an instrument, as I said, as vigorous as the organ. When will women find time to balance family life, which is heavily concentrated on the woman, find time to then go and learn the organ? I'm very impressed by you, our guest today, that you were able to like balance this really strenuous and difficult, almost impossible job of being a mother, a wife, a homemaker, and then a music director. Not just a music director, an organist music director. That is beyond impressive. So like how do we do this? What are we able to give? What are we able to sacrifice? Because there has to be some kind of sacrifice for for any woman to take on the organ and to play it well, not just, to play it as well as the men or even better than the men, because, like we can say, oh, women organists, and we may just be creating amateur musicians due to the our role in society as women. So like, how do we balance this? What do you think you have sacrificed, or what can we sacrifice? Thank you.
Seriously, this question brought tears to my eyes. And on this note, I give it to my husband. Seriously. I'm a mother of 3 kids, and my first son is 18, my second son 16, while my last daughter 6 years. And when they were growing, nobody knew me as their mother because I'm off to the church. My husband will carry all the older one, carry the younger one. Those two boys, people will be asking, weekends when they're at home, I'm not always there. I'm always at church. On Christmas Day, I'm not at home. New Year, I'm not there. You run to church for service. All I just do is wake up in the morning, cook, and go. Especially when the children were still growing. You have to go about with the kids because already I'm off to church as early as 7. First service is 7:30. A huge sacrifice. In fact, a very huge one that I give to my husband. When my children were growing up, nobody knew, only few people knew me that. Some people even ask, where is their mother? Like I left them. But I wake up so early on Sunday, even up till now. I leave home as early as 5:30 a.m. in the morning. Even my last daughter, when I had her, I'll just drop and go. But everything, what I make sure that I do is that my family don't eat out. I do all the cooking before I leave. It takes a lot. Then what can really help too is that God help us women to have a good and understanding husband. Because for you to just step out of the house, Christmas Day, you're not there, New Year, you're not there, Easter Day, you're not there, all those ceremonial days, you're not there, I come back in the afternoon when the day is almost over. It takes a lot of sacrifices. It's not easy to balance it. It is not easy at all. But all we just have to pray for is that God should give us an understanding man. A man that knows that says, this is your job that you have passion for. It has really helped me. He had never gone against me. All he just wants is that don't come home sad. That is what pains him. When I come home and just complain is what happened today and I'm sad, he's always feeling bad. But bringing up the children, I remember I played at the church. I didn't stay long at that church. It was a Baptist church. My first son was just 3 months. And my husband come with him. I'll leave home as early as 6:30. He will bring him to meet me at the second service. And I have to bring him. I'll have to breastfeed him and return him back to him and go back to the organ because he knew that I have a passion for it. I've been doing it before I even met him, and it is my job. I love the organ. Fine, as an organist, you can't just be at the organ alone. You have to have other things that you are doing. So at least you know that of all the jobs I do, teaching music, going for lessons, the organ is my life. Wow. But I make sure I balance it. Before I leave for church up till last Sunday, before I leave on 5:30 and I prepare breakfast before I leave. So even as male organists, we must also plan that. Your job must not take over your home. Even for my last daughter, I gave her on Friday and I still play the organ. I still play for the lesson service on Wednesday. Wow. So it's been like that, and God has been so faithful. So we just have to make sure that what is meant for the home must be done. And what we are to do at that time we are away, we should do it before leaving home. I run back home to cook for my husband every Sunday evening. And before I leave home, I cook. The only thing they miss on Sunday is lunch. So we must be ready to balance that as female organists too.
Thank you so much. Okay, I think that's an interesting pointers to all, and thanks so much to Dr. Agatha. Thanks so much for joining us today, and thanks for that question, and thank you for addressing that question. I hope some of us will learn from this also. So I think we are lucky actually today. It's been an interesting day. There's a message from Professor Olukoya, so which I will read out. Daddy and Mommy Olukoya would like to contribute. Wow, thank you so much, Mommy and Daddy. Definitely. Okay, can we have you, sir? Let's have you, sir. Let's have Daddy Gio and Mommy Gio.
Introduce yourself. Okay. God bless you all in Jesus' name.
Amen.
This is Elijah Olukoya, and I am honored to be part of this seminar to encourage more women to play the organ. And after some research and some Bible searching, I have reasons for this. So at this point in time, one must consider the opportunities, equal opportunity and representation because historically the organ playing has been male dominated. And so at this point in time, we should give more opportunities to women so that they'll be more involved. And it would also break certain stereotypes as well, since historically it's been male dominated and it's associated to male players. And so to sort of break the stereotype, we have to be more inclusive in terms of musicianship. And to also add like biblical references to it, so sort of utilizing God-given talents, so making good use of the talent that God's given. And it's the case for any gender, really, and which is why women must have that opportunity to show that talent. Of course, there are more reasons to go through, but these are the reasons that I've put up with. That's all I want to say.
Oh,
thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so this is our brother, Elijah Olukoya, which is the son of Daddy Gio. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for the comment. So can we have Mommy Gio now?
Wow.
Thank you so much. Can we have Mommy Gio? Thank you, ma'am.
Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Lukoya. God bless you all in Jesus' name.
Amen.
I've actually been in this program from the beginning. Well, you didn't notice me.
Wow.
And it was intentional. I wanted to know what's actually going on before I now put in something that can identify me. So, well done, madam.
Thank
God
you,
bless you.
Amen.
I've even sent you a text message. You will see it on your phone later.
Yes,
so
thank you, sir.
This kind of program should be encouraged, sir. And more and more women should be allowed to try their hands on the organ. At the headquarters, I've been harassing the ladies up and down, go and join the organ class, and be encouraging them, pushing them to go and play the organ. And because it shouldn't be just male dominated. So Dr. Oloroti should not be scared that women are coming to take over. So it is well in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Mommy will talk to you later.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Dr. Ayorinde, we want you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Wow. Thank you so much. It's been an interesting journey for today. It's been an interesting journey and an insightful and productive one for that matter. Thank you so much. Our sister, Mrs. Abiodun George. Thank you. Yeah. So thank you for coming, and thank you for giving us your time. And it has been an interesting journey so far, and I really commend your will, your commitment, and it's indeed a kind of motivation for younger generation. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're still going to have more of you. We're still going to invite you. We're still going to do a lot with you and others also. Yeah. Once again, I'd like to thank you and also our brother Elijah Olukoya and Mommy Olukoya. Yeah. So we thank you for joining us today. Thank you so much. And we're also looking forward to having more of you on a weekly basis. Of course, Daddy said he has been joining us.
Hello.
Oh, thank you, ma. Hello, ma.
Hello. A very good day to you all. And I'm very pleased to be live with you on this program. I'm really very happy that such a thing is happening in our lifetime. Based on my upbringing as a Christian, and then from a family that loves music, and then getting married also to a man who himself is organ and music himself. So it's been a wonderful, wonderful experience for me as a woman. So, and then seeing women handling things you can, well, categorize as complicated, you know, shouldn't be strange to us, although it is strange, but it shouldn't be. Why? This is because of how women have been made. And what I used to tell people is that the first name of a woman is a helpmate. Her middle name is woman, and every other long list of name can follow. So for God to look around and say, it is not good that the man should be alone, I will make him a helpmate. He didn't say it is not good for the woman to be alone. It was the man who was alone. So women, I do tell women that women are a whole big workshop, busy, 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 and resourceful and enriched with many things, so that when we get on something, whatever it is, we have all it takes to be the best in that area, because we have been designed a workshop to fit into different kinds of shapes, to fit into different kinds of circumstances, and offer our help and bring sanity into situations that are almost like crazy and mad. That is women. And the way our brain is structured, we are quick to learn, and we are quick to be a master of whatever we have been taught. I remember when I wanted to learn a musical instrument, I think I made a mistake then. I was going to go on to trumpet. I love trumpet. I just love the the biblical significance of it also. So I just wanted to. And then the instructor came and played for 5 minutes and went to a corner and emptied his trumpet, bringing out saliva. I said, oh my God, I got the wrong instrument. I think I need to change my mind. And then so I started learning piano for a start. And wow. I went on grade 1, but I am in a busy ministry with a busy man who is a scientist, a researcher, a preacher, and everything. And we have to be out and about together as missionaries, planting churches and starting the MFM we can see today. So it was a busy life for me. And as a young woman who has just gotten married, but my spirit has always been connected to music, wanting to learn, wanting to know more, and wanting to minister in that area. So I went on to start learning piano. So I got to grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, and then I went on to my theory. My theory went up to grade 4, and I had an examination at Mushin. Then I saw many young ladies who were inspired by that. Oh my God, such a busy woman. She's learning. So it was something for me. So I knew whatever it is, women at the forefront, we are there to be, a good example, an inspiration for others who feel they can't do anything as women, because we are prone to being called weaker vessels. Even in that terminology of weaker vessels, we are not really weak in the sense. It's just a metaphor of how we are made soft, but God made us strong. So I'm very happy and pleased with this seminar, that women are coming up and sharing with us. And I'm really happy with our sister there, that this is something for us as women to learn from. You have just told us you have to breastfeed baby, you have to go back to the piano and still be yourself. This can only be a unique woman that God made. And that's who we are. The way our brain is being structured, it is detailed. Eye for details. If women handle an instrument that is handled by a man, women will do it better, because we are made to occupy that workshop that God has designed us to be. So you are a woman and a workshop, and you have come here today to project that uniqueness in you for women to emulate. I want to say something wonderful. And I'm happy it's happening in my lifetime.
Wow, thank you.
I'm even more encouraged based on the fact that I handle women's issues. And at the moment, I'm doing a research on women's trauma. Women have been through a lot. Gender disparity, misogyny, name it, it's all over the place and it's still happening. Women are still not being recognized for who they are as helpers. They are not designed to take over, but to just do their best. They are helpers. Helpers don't take over. Helpers are workshops filled with all kinds of resources to help our world take a good shape. Adam would have gone after a chimpanzee and say, okay, well, let me just settle for that. It looks like a woman. Let me settle for a monkey. But no, he went away. That sense of incompleteness took over him. God saw it and said, I will make him a helpmate. So we are women to help. And in the music ministry, I'm very proud of you that you're coming out to share this with us. May God continue to bless you, strengthen you, and all the organizers of this beautiful seminar. May God continue to be with you and grant you more grace for more insightful seminars in Jesus' name. God bless you and thank you.
Amen.
Thank you so much, ma'am. One thing that we can take, one of the things I am fleshing out from our point is the fact that women are workshop. That's an interesting theoretical framework for those working on women's studies, gender studies. So I'm going to fly with that. Women are workshop. They are workshops. So we are going to build on that actually. But thank you so much, ma'am, for that insightful contribution. And in fact, you have actually helped us. You have provided another layer of significance to our business, the business of the day. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much. So today has been an interesting journey, as explained, earlier. So I think just a last word from you. I know I was asking you earlier about what would you, advise with. So in your, although this is not, we are coming back, we are still going to have it out. But for now, particularly from these insightful ideas we've garnered here and there from Daddy Gio, from my brother, and also from the professors and doctors in the house, and from mommy. So what is that one word you want to leave for young, particularly aspiring female musician, organist, or even whatever they are in their position, that are feeling, oh, I am somewhere in society, I should be somewhere. What is that word you want to leave for them to encourage them?
Be committed, be humble. If I'm permitted, I don't know if I can remember that word, that song properly. The chorus of Space to Serve Jesus. I'll serve him more better than in days of yore. I'll serve him more better than ever before. I'll serve as it's pleasing, whatever the cost. I'll be a true soldier, I'll die at my post. Most times when I'm down professionally, I just put that song in my mouth. So for those coming up, just serve him, just do it, do your best, and leave the rest for God. And one thing is certain, God does not owe. He will never owe you. The reward will come at his own time, at the time that it will be convenient for you to use it. So just be committed, be humble, and be ready to serve. Don't be distracted.
Thank you so much. Be humble, committed, and ready to serve. That is actually not only for women. I think it's for everybody. It's also by extension to every one of us out there. Let's be humble, let's be committed, and let's be ready to serve. I think the service is why very important.
Very, very.
People miss
Whatever
this a lot.
the case
Service. Vision is driven by service. Yeah.
Sorry, sir. Yeah. The service, the commitment we are talking about is that this service must not fail. I must be there. I think on May 12, I was seriously healed. I was not supposed to go to church. But because then I don't have an assistant, I just had an assistant this month. I crawled to church. I did not even see the music score I was playing. But you know where God amused me? One of my finest chorister like that, he used to help me to conduct because I can't play the organ and conduct at the same time. He said, Mrs. George, I love the combination of this organ stops. And I was just looking at him that the score I did not even see. I was really, really sick, but I got that service. And the first hymn I played that day, I was weeping. Why am I here in this condition? But that day, it was a very beautiful service. That was what God did. The kind of organ playing I will not have when I'm strong. That is where God amused me. So the commitment is, this service is going to happen, it must not fail. If you will not be there, what are you going to do to make sure that it goes the way it's supposed to go? Wow. So it takes a lot from us, both men and women. It takes a lot.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that wonderful. Thank you. Friends and colleagues, from wherever you're joining, I'm sure we have colleagues, some of our colleagues from across the world. Thank you so much for your commitment to our vision and to your commitment to our ideas on a weekly basis and things we do from this spot, the organ house, and the. So again, for some of you who are joining us for the first time, please join us again next week. This is the Organ House Concert and Seminar Series. It's a space of dialogue. It's a critical space where we engage critically on artistic ideas, music, composition, and issues relating to social development, like you have seen today. Today's focus was about women empowerment initiative. So these are the kind of things we discuss on a very level, on a weekly basis. So join us again for next week. Again, I need to remind you that every first week of the month is when we have our global community reading session. So next week, join us. Between today and tomorrow, again, as usual, you will receive the update on the readings for next week. So please follow the link, download the reading, read and get ready. That's our monthly reading session for our global community. And be ready to join us next week for the reading session. Again, it promised to be an enlightening session, an inspirational session and fruitful session. So thank you so much again. Thank you. This initiative is moving also because you are committed to the vision and you are committed to the dream. You join us every week. So again, join us next week as we push the agenda forward. Thank you so much. My name is Oladele Ayorinde. Thank you. See you next week.